Hey gamers, hope you're doing well. This is Brilliant Ben. I want to tell you about how my gaming PC was stolen and how I ended up getting it returned to me. But before that, I'd like to explain a little bit about this gameplay. So I had one of those moments where I stared deep into the abyss that is my Steam backlog and thought, let me see what I find on the storefront, and somehow I came across Hyper Demon. The aesthetic of the game immediately jumped out at me, plus the frenetic movement and sounds. Now, $15 for a small indie game of this sort could either mean it's an inflated price or a meaningful choice in valuation by the creators. But that overwhelmingly positive review status told my brain to take a chance and also create dopamine. It may remind you of an indie game called Devil Daggers, and it's created by Soreth, the same team that created that game. I never played Devil Daggers myself, but knowledge of that title assured me this game would meet most of my expectations. It's clearly a highly focused FPS experience that is akin to games published by, like, Devolver. Hyper Demon thrives on its simplicity, but it pulls you in for longer periods of time on the premise that you haven't seen all that the game has to offer because you're just not good enough yet. Kind of like Dark Souls, or any notoriously challenging game that is still worthy of praise, like Flappy Bird. Remember that game? Just joking. Let's switch gears now so I can tell you about what happened to me and how my defenseless gaming PC was stolen from my home, and incredibly, how I got my gaming PC back. So I posted in my community section on the channel that on the Thursday prior to New Year's Eve, my house had been robbed. Guitars, my TV, girlfriend's laptop, among other things, were taken from us. And the most expensive or valuable thing that was taken was my newly built gaming PC. Now, of course, these are just things, and I won't bore you with why we humans cherish inanimate objects. But having waited 4 years to finish a new build, plus knowing that I had just lost all the projects and content I was working on, it just left me feeling angry and them numb and really paranoid. They broke in through a window and walked out the back door with our things. That had been after being gone most of the day traveling to visit friends and family with my girlfriend. So when we arrived home around like 11 p.m. that night, that's when we realized what had happened, and then proceeded to calling the police department to make a report. Hours went by, and around 2 a.m. officers showed up to take our report and our list of what we could tell was missing at that point. I didn't really sleep that night and spent anxious hours checking Facebook Marketplace, eBay, and Craigslist for our stolen things, our gaming PC, and the guitars. Strangely enough, my old gaming PC was untouched, so I at least had that to fall back on. Being that gaming is one of my best coping mechanisms, and so is editing and creating videos. So I made a community post the next night and spent some time gaming to just keep myself entertained. Over the next week or so, with the help of my girlfriend, we made a post to local community groups on Facebook and Nextdoor about our break-in and our stolen possessions. And not soon after, we had people within our local area reporting they had also recently been broken into, and some folks shared some video footage from their security cameras. Early in the morning after we had made our report to the police is when we noticed shoe prints and the window where the burglar entered our home. The shoe print matched what others in the area noticed in snow marks around their homes that had been burglarized. So it seemed as if the same person may have been breaking into homes all in the same neighborhood. There was a strange sense of connection and hope that perhaps enough people were reporting these break-ins so that local PD and detectives would locate the stolen items, or at least the person breaking in. But I had to just carry on with work and trying my best not to let my emotions get the better of me, because it was a depressing situation to be in. So I didn't really want to think that I would be getting my gaming PC back. I didn't want to have too much hope at that point. I thought it would at least be months before I could check enough pawn shops in the area to find if any of our things had been sold and hopefully get those things back. But then people online from Reddit and Facebook and Nextdoor had been notified that some of their things had been found. A detective had followed up on other people's reports and found pawned items that were clearly stolen items from the recent break-ins. And that's when messages reached my girlfriend that someone collecting their stolen items noticed what was reported stolen in our online posts. So I called the local PD to check on our report and to upload more photos of our stolen items and to see if we had been assigned a detective, which at that point we had not. It had been about 7 days and our case didn't have a detective, but the message that we received from our posts said to reach out to a detective and a phone number. I was really paranoid at that point still and worried someone online might be scamming people for some reason. I thought there's no way our stolen items were found within a week or so, or that it was all connected to the same burglaries in the area. The next day, after checking on our case, we received a call from the detective mentioned online to us. They were local PD that pulled our report and was confident that what we had listed had been found. I was relieved and at the same time still very numb to the whole situation. But after setting up a time to meet, I took a break from work and headed over to my nearby precinct. And I met with the detective, and sure enough, they had my gaming PC. My other items like a laptop and guitars were found, but they were pending some type of warrant before I could have them returned to us. So I grabbed my gaming PC and my stolen wireless headset, packed them up in my car, and brought them back home. But the fear that I had this whole time was, okay, once I get my gaming PC back, what condition would it be in? Everything was still intact, and no pieces had been pulled out of the motherboard. Evidently, the thief that stole my gaming PC was using it for themselves. And that made me certain that there was no way any of my files would be left on the hard drives. So I connected a monitor, keyboard, a mouse, plugged in the power cord, flipped the power supply on, and booted up the PC. And the smell of cigars and cigarettes filled my room. And sadly, the logon for Windows was now replaced with a different face and name. Not Brilliant Ben, but who was in fact the person that broke in and stole the PC. They had reformatted and reinstalled Windows 10, meaning all my files were lost. And I suppose had also been smoking in the same room that my PC was located because it smelled awful. So I did spend some time just opening up the PC, cleaning the filters, and blasting a bunch of canned air through the PC. And that kind of helped dissipate the pungent smell. I mean, it was still a bummer, right? I had put in about 12 hours on this Dark and Darker video that I was working on, where me and a couple friends played a bunch of really fun matches together. Plus all the other gaming footage that I had collected thus far and anything else that was currently in progress. It was all gone. But I guess, really this story is a happy one because I'm writing and gaming on my gaming PC. So I'm incredibly grateful to those that helped me and anyone who reached out and left support on this channel. Thanks to my girlfriend, neighbors in my community, folks on Facebook and Reddit, and of course our local PD. I am so thankful that I had help and support to get through this sad situation. So again, let me just say thank you.